What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Fantasy Football. My name is Ryan Linkletter. I'm here today with the Dean of Fantasy Football. We've done draft strategies this entire offseason. If you missed those other videos, go check them out. But today, we are doing the coveted zero running back strategy. Me and Dean are not drafting a running back till the fifth round or later, and this is probably the toughest challenge it's ever been. This may be the worst no running back strategy in the past few years because you need to get a running back. So if we can find a league-winning team in this draft, and there's no reason you guys can't. With my 103, we're stacking Ja'Marr Chase right away. He's my top receiver off the board, so I really enjoy getting him there at the 103 this year. And obviously, we set ourselves up for success having that wide receiver one.
Yep, absolutely. And I'll just keep it going, man. I am going to go with JJ. Yep. I think he's that kind of guy that's just going to hopefully be that elite top tier receiver for me, especially in this no build. Honestly, even if I was thinking about running backs right there, I think JJ's the pick regardless.
Yeah. I think, Jefferson, Amon-Ra, and James Cook are those guys I'm looking at 106 through 108. And you're sitting there, you get Jay Jettas. I wouldn't be too mad about that at all.
Yeah, no, not at all. And Ryan, like you said, we've done a lot of these, and they're consistently, I keep going to one receiver to do it, but I want to change things up a little bit. So as I see McBride going in front of me, man, I'm gonna go Bowers right here. Let's just go. I'm gonna go Brock Bowers. I think he's a wide receiver by himself. The wide receiver group, I don't really like that much right there, except for the other guy I was gonna take that you may take right now. But I want to switch things up. Hey, it's mock draft season, man. Let's try things. Let's see how JJ and Brock Bowers, and there you go. You did it. That was the guy I was going to take there at 2-3. So
yeah. So I mean, dude, I was honestly, it's funny. I was looking at Brock Bowers for my turn potentially, depending because his ADP is a little weird right now. He's going anywhere from the early third to the beginning of the second, so he's a little bit scattered. He's my tight end one this year. But I absolutely love the running backs in round two, so this is very hard for me to pass up on running back. But getting A.J. Brown where I did is absolutely electric, pairing one of my favorite receivers in this draft with Ja'Marr Chase. And I've said this stat 100 times, and I'll continue to say it. A.J. Brown's never finished below wide receiver 6 when he's had 140-plus targets. So what does that tell you? He should be drafted as a top 6 receiver this year. And then the only quarterback that I'm drafting, unless it's a stack early on, is Josh Allen. He falls to me at 303. I know I'm getting a quarterback 1 or quarterback 2. So I'm happily going to take that build, especially considering the fact I'm not taking a running back right now.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, so coming around to me, man, it seems like every time I do a mock draft, I end up with either or both A.J. Brown or Ladd McConkey. I'm a huge Ladd McConkey fan, and at this turnaround, I was kind of looking at it and say, you know what? I want to get my guy and make sure, and then I'll deal with whatever's coming back around for me. And I'm going to stay in the wide receiver room. Kind of a tough decision. I think I'm actually going to go with a guy in a new scene. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle here. So I think that Jalen Waddle and Ladd can be these guys for me in a PPR format where they're just getting catches every week, and then I can get those big, sexy points by Bowers and Jefferson on a weekly basis, right? So
yeah,
I like this build so far.
I do too. I really like that little wide receiver stack you got there with the tight ends. As far as where I'm at right now, in terms of we can't go running back right now, so I'm looking at these wide receivers. Devonta Smith, Emeka Egbuka are the two guys I have ranked highest. I'm leaning more towards Emeka Egbuka and chasing a little bit of upside here. Yeah. I understand people are really high on Devonta Smith, but Philadelphia's never ranked top 16 in the NFL with Jalen Hurts in terms of passing attempts per game. The volume's going to still be scattered. Devonta Smith, is he going to probably reach that wide receiver 1 ceiling that everybody's hoping? Probably not, but Emeka Egbuka, who may have a lower potential floor, probably has a higher chance of seeing that volume in a Tampa Bay passing attack that we know is going to rank top 10. He's going to have volume. Mike Evans is gone. Emeka Egbuka, if he plays like he did in the first half, is going to be a steal. Tyler Warren gets sniped for me. I was hoping I'd get him on the way back. We got double flex, and we're sitting here at this point. I'm taking a look at what I got. I'm not shying away from my guns here. I'm going Bashul Tutin at the 503 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. We want to talk about fantasy gold mines. Liam Cohen's a fantasy gold mine for the running back position, the wide receiver position, and the quarterback position. And Travis Etienne saw his career revived. Bucky Irving had a career year, and he hasn't been the same player since Liam Cohen left. I am very inclined to say that Bashal Tutin's going to have a great season this year in Jacksonville if he wins this role. Obviously, we're doing this in June. He may not be the starter September 1st, but for now, I am drafting a Jacksonville starting running back within the first 5 rounds of fantasy football drafts.
Man, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, what a run for running backs where I thought I'd be okay going another round without one. But man, just seeing the was this 5 here in the 5th kind of puts me at my back against the wall. And I think for me, I think I only have one option here. I really wanted to believe in David Montgomery, but I don't know what's going to happen in his first year with the Texans, right? Like I really don't, and I could be optimistic, but to get my RB1 right now, I'm going to go Judkins, a guy that I've been getting a lot to. He is the clear best running back in that backfield, so I feel fine going into the season with him.
While you think about that next pick, I'll say this about Judkins: is Judkins out of all the running backs actually is one of the most expected to have a positive regression this year. He scored more expected fantasy points than fantasy points last year. The situation in Cleveland wasn't great. Obviously, Todd Monken comes in. We saw what he was able to do at the running back position in Baltimore and in years prior. I'm very excited to see if we can reach a new ceiling with Quinshon Judkins this year in fantasy. It's not like I'm drafting him in the early 4th or something like that. I just like his value with where he's priced in over some of those guys like RJ Harvey, Travion Henderson for sure. I think him and DeAndre Swift is pretty close for me, but I'd lean Judkins. So really like where Quinshon's going in terms of value.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And to finish up this one for me, I'm actually going to go with a receiver. I'm going to go with Mike Evans as my second flex. I think he's going to be a nice red zone target, especially early in the year. But I think that he's on this Niners team for a reason, and it's going to be kind of like, I think we'll see kind of like Devontae Adams with the Rams last year, a lot of touchdown scoring, and for him to be my second flex, I ain't mad about it.
You ain't mad about it. All right, I respect it. With this next pick, I went Tucker Kraft here. I'll explain that in a second. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. There's maybe nobody in the fantasy community as piped up and hyped up as I am for Ramondre Stevenson this year. He had career best in terms of yards per reception last year, was 5th in missed tackle rate, had a career season in terms of production. And everybody's like, well, Travion Henderson year 2. And this is what I'll say. Josh McDaniels throughout his entire career has been a 2 running back style coach. Ramondre Stevenson's being drafted after Travion Henderson. In this draft specifically, 2 rounds after. I'm getting him in the 7th here, and I know sure, he's my second back with maybe a cap ceiling, but let's say Travion Henderson goes down. Ramondre is going to increase those snaps, maybe have a bigger early workload, but I really like Ramondre Stevenson in that 14 to 16 touch range, per game. And, he was good in that role last year, low end RB2. And with us going, no running back, having that sort of volume makes me feel pretty good. Snagging him here in the early 7th. And then Tucker Kraft, for the injury, tight end 1 in points per game. Do I need to say more?
Yeah. He's become one of my favorite picks. I mean, obviously I went Bowers early, but like Kraft, like when he gets, you see that in like the 6th or like sometimes 7th value when you do these mocks, like it's just so juicy. You can't pass it up. Juicy. So yeah, love that for you. Yeah, I went with Tony Pollard here. I thought he was kind of this like higher up of what was available. For the past few years, like I was a big Spears guy. I thought he could take it over, but he hasn't. He has not at all. And Tony Pollard's been like pretty consistent. And I'm excited to see what this Titans offense can do. And I think they need a running back 1, and that's the guy in Tony Pollard, I think. So I'll go with him there. Let's see what depth. I gotta go quarterback. Someone I just tweeted about. I'm gonna go Dak here. I think when healthy, Dak, his arm, and especially the weapons he has, he's a top fantasy quarterback, man. And it's impressive to see, especially with the guy with not a lot of running upside. But as long as you keep this guy upright and healthy, and he has guys like Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, like Prescott's knocking on top tier fantasy, finishes, and even sometimes MVP voting. It's actually crazy. So I'll take him here in the 8th.
8th, yeah. Yeah, I know. I absolutely love the quarterbacks. When we did our Mock Monday show, we actually had Patrick Mahomes, going the last round, the 14th round of that draft. And he's the
Oh my.
QB 11 on ADP right now. Think about that and how much quarterbacks slipped among a bunch of different people. Me, Derek Brown from Fantasy Pros, and a bunch of you guys had all these quarterbacks slipping down draft boards. Think about that. That's crazy. And now you got the tight ends like that as well. So with my next pick, obviously I'm set at quarterback and tight end right now. Wasn't really considering those. I went Parker Washington, who averaged 22 points per game over the last 4 games of last season. Got him in the 8th. He's my favorite Jacksonville receiver this year, and I do want stake in that Jaguars passing game. And then I got Jadarian Price in the 9th. He's way undervalued on Sleeper right now. That price should go up. I'm going to invest in the first round pick of the Seattle Seahawks, who will still have a great defense, will still be in plenty of games, and have plenty of rushing volume to give around in this offense.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what's funny too? I feel like me and you, Ryan, like we agree on a lot of the same guys. So I went with Jordan Mason. I think he's just such a great uh, runner these past few years. Even when he's at a wide, running back 2 role, he tends to take it over. And he's got Aaron Jones in front of him that is still priced ahead. And I still don't get it because Aaron Jones just really hasn't been that dude. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries this past year. And like Jordan Mason's been such a solid secondary option, and especially in fantasy too. And then another guy I've been drafting a lot is Wandell. I think getting that contract from Tennessee, being optimistic about that offense. That's why I took Pollard. I think the progression for Cam Ward and Wandell Robinson to be kind of that veteran presence from the slot. Like I think Wandell Robinson is a great value, super late, and he's not even one of my starters right now.
Yeah, I love me Wandell Robinson this year, and I do want some stake in that Tennessee passing game, whether that's him, Carnell Tate, or Cam Ward in my drafts. And then coming up back to me, honestly, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt is a little bit underrated this offseason. I think everybody's a little bit scared of this running back room situation, who's going to play, who's not going to play. I think Rachaad White probably has that third down role, but Bill seems like he's going to have that early down work cut out for him. He's going around the 10th round right now. That's a little bit hard for me to pass up because we know the efficiency metrics with a rushing quarterback are going to be there in this ground game. And I do think Bill will probably be closer to an RB2 than he is an RB4, which he's being priced as right now. So I look at that, like, got to have that depth there as my 4th running back. And then in the 11th round, we're going Stephon Diggs. We're not necessarily sure where he signs. I think the most likely suitors are Washington and Baltimore. If he went to Washington, I'd probably consider him a 7th round pick. If he went to Baltimore, he'd probably be an 8th round pick. So finding him here in the 11th, a guy that's coming off a 1,000-yard season, is a really good value for me. And I do think Diggs will play a decent role this year in fantasy.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to explain my next 2 picks, I mean, going Isaiah Likely, I think he has an opportunity here to be in a conversation for top 5. And you know what, as I wear my Giants hat here, very optimistic about this season. But with my 2nd round pick being Brock Bowers, that's a lot of stake in the game at the tight end position. So knock on wood, if he ever went down, I got to think about what is my next move. I don't want to rely on the waiver wire to replace my 2nd round pick, right? So I'm going to get Likely here to hopefully he can have a finish that I think, that high ceiling, and he can back it up. And then for Josh Downs, he's just a big game guy. He's a big play kind of guy. And I know they just signed Alec Pierce, but they got rid of Pittman. So I like Josh Downs a lot, and especially getting him in the 12th.
I do like that value right there. As far as like the late running backs go, there's not a lot that I really do enjoy or like. I do think taking a flyer on Alvin Kamara, even though he's basically a fossil, is one of the more interesting ones, just because Alvin Kamara, if he's active on a field, is still going to probably play 35 to 40% of snaps, especially on 3rd down, where in PPR formats, which we're playing, could be a valuable role. He's a guy who can plug and play for 10 to 12. Sure, he may not have the upside that Alvin Kamara once had where he won leagues, but he's still going to have a role, whether that's in New Orleans or somewhere else this upcoming season. As far as my next pick goes, it does get a little bit dicey, but I'll go Jonathan Brooks here for the Carolina Panthers. Brooks is just sitting here, and while he's had these different ACL injuries, he walks into the perfect situation to succeed in Carolina because Chuba Hubbard hasn't been that great as a rusher. He had 0 explosive runs last year, over 140 plus attempts, which was crazy to think about in terms of the grand scope of things. And Jonathan Brooks has a clear opportunity to earn some touches early on. And I do think this coaching staff, who's mentioned Brooks is one of the most explosive players on this roster, wants to get him involved. So finding him in these later rounds, one of my favorite late round running backs in a year where there's not much available in terms of these later rounds.
Yeah, and listen, Ryan, you left me a lot of garbage here at the last pick, and I was trying to even like I'm trying to think like who do I even think has some upside here? Like who do I even enjoy to pick right now? The guys that I was relying on, I thought Rashad White would be there. I was make a nice comment about maybe if Tyreek Hill landed to me. That he didn't even land to me. So you know what? I talked about the Titans a lot. Let's finish it off with Cam Ward. Hey, if he,
all right now.
if he progresses, man, I believe in this kid. I think he's so good. And if things really do work out in Tennessee for his year two, why not? It might be a thing where he may just play himself into a week-to-week starter.
Yeah, and you guys can see our drafts right here. I went wide receiver, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver, running back, running back. And then Dean, on the other hand, went wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, running back, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, wide receiver, quarterback. Dean, thinking about our drafts today, I mean, the no running back is maybe the worst draft strategy you could possibly have this year. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, for sure. It definitely is. And I think that's why I think us as fantasy owners really got to look at these later round guys, and you might see names like Tony Pollard and J.K. Dobbins that may be like, oh my god, but if you want to go this route, that's who your running backs are going to be, and they might hit you with a consistent maybe 12 points a game or something like that, but it is not for the weak. If we did it again, I don't think I would take Dak again that early, just looking at it right there. But I don't entirely hate it, but you just look at, you're going to line up against like Gibbs, Bijan week to week, and Hampton and all these other guys, and you're going to be like, damn, I wish I had a running back.
Basically, the best strategy to go about it is make sure that you are taking the best available guy each round. You don't have to stick to a no RB strategy just because you get Jamar Chase, AJ Brown, and Josh Allen the first 3 rounds. But if the board happens to pivot that way, options like a Bayshul Tootin with immense upside in the 5th round, Tony Pollard in the 7th round in Tennessee. You got Jadarian Price going in the 9th right now, Jonathan Brooks in the 13th. There's different options that you can target to make this thing work, and it's all about adaptability. You got to be able to adapt to a win in fantasy football, and that's what we did today on the Zero RB video. If you enjoy content like this, drop a comment down below what you thought of our draft, and we're posting daily fantasy football videos all season long, so hit that subscribe button, and me and Dean will catch you guys next time.